Which brings us to the next issue. The levels of fasting Ashura. There's 4 levels. We start with the best and go to the least. The best of fasting Ashura is to fast the 9th, and the 10th is the target day. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, if I lived, I would have fasted the 9th and the 10th. And it was what the Sahaba did, and it was what's documented by Ibn Abbas and Ibn Umar radiallahu anhum. The second level of fasting is to fast the 10th and the 11th. That's slightly less in ranking than the first, because the Prophet ﷺ said the 9th and the 10th. But maybe someone wasn't able to fast the 9th. He can go on and do the 10th and the 11th. That way he combined between hitting the target day of the 10th, the day of Ashura, and he added a day after to be different. But it wasn't the same day that the Prophet ﷺ said. The third level of fasting is to just fast the 10th day. That's less than the first and the second. It's acceptable, but less in reward than one would have fasted the first and the second levels. The fourth level is to fast the 9th, 10th, and 11th, all 3 days together. It's considered less because the Prophet ﷺ suggested the 9th and the 10th. He didn't suggest all 3 days. If one added the 11th in fasting with the intention of it being for Ashura, it drops down to the 4th level. If he intended the 11th day of Muharram to be just a regular general day, that's totally different. Why is it less when it's 3 days? Because there's no authentic proof to fast all 3 days with the intention of it being Ashura. And note when I say there's no authentic, I'm specific in my choice of words. There may be narrations, but they're not authentic. So it's not proven by an authentic hadith, nor do we know actually any Sahabi who fasted all 3 days in the intention of Ashura. Fasting all 3 was narrated in Ibn Shaybah that Tawus did it. And Tawus is a tabi'i, not a Sahabi. He fasted all 3 days. But when you look deep into it, it was that they fasted, some of the tabi'in fasted the 3 days because they were fearing to miss the day of Ashura because there was a problem in moon sighting. They weren't sure, so they decided to fast all 3 days so they will not miss the day of Ashura. If that happens in your community with an issue, then that's totally different.